Okay. Yeah, thanks for everyone for sitting down with me, and I will switch between English and Slovenian so that everyone feels comfortable, hopefully. And please also just respond in whatever language you prefer. And the first, this first panel is meant to be very kind of global in its scope, or sort of large-scale issues of water. But something that has come up, I feel, over and over again throughout the morning is this idea of floods and flooding, and and kind of the dangers of water and our fear of water. I mean, I think we're all dealing with it in different ways, different capacities. In the Netherlands, it's part of everyday life in a way. In Bari in a way as well. But I'd like to ask Lidija, because you haven't spoken yet, and I know that you have some opinions on that about this concept of the fear of floods and what you think that should be, how that should be seen. Tako da, prosim, lahko odgovorite v slovenščini. Se
slišimo? Ja, bi v slovenščini, ker sem pripravila za začetek. Vzela sem etimološki slovar Marko Snoj leta 1994, beseda poplava. Pa me je slovar napotil na besedi pluti in plavati. Pluti plovem, plaviti, naplaviti, naplavljati, naplavina, poplaviti, poplavljati, poplava, splaviti. Grško pleo, plovem, plavam, latinsko plivit, teče, lije, latinsko tudi kot koren perplavere, prepuščati vodo, in pravi avtor, da je koren besede pleu, pognati v gibanje, pretakati se. Namreč, beseda poplava se v bistvu prijela v naš jezik in miselno razumevanje v Sloveniji mogoče zadnjih 50 let. V resnici gre pa za naplavljanje. Naplavljanje snovi organskega drobirja skupaj z vodo. Torej voda naplavlja. In celotni rečni koridori, kot jih vidimo danes, celotne ozke doline, celotne doline, kjer živi sedaj menda 80% ljudi v Evropi, živi na teh naplavinah. In to se še zdaj dogaja. Mi pravzaprav nismo kaj dosti spremenili v globalu, ampak želimo kontrolirati nekaj, kar smo začeli spreminjati 500 let nazaj. Ta prostor namreč ni imel enega korita pa ene struge, imel je množico strug. Zdaj so zunaj eni članki, ki so to raziskovali po depozitih drobirja organskega, torej cele doline so doline preplavljanja in plavljanja rek. Ljudje smo seveda to korito, ki kot ga vidimo danes, sami naredili, v glavnem sami smo skopali glavno korito. In se bojimo poplav, se pravi dogodka, ko je to korito premajčkano. In se ves čas pogovarjamo, kam to vodo zdaj spraviti. To je naš globalni problem. Strah, ja, strah je velik. In moja teza je, da pravzaprav nas preplavljanja ne bi smelo biti strah, ampak bi se, seveda so možne tehnične rešitve še naprej, tako kot širjenje avtocest, ki se nam povečuje promet, je tudi z rekami tako, da lahko dvigujemo nasipe, pa poglabljamo reke, pa razširjamo. Ampak to delamo do neskončnosti, pa še vedno ne bomo obvladovali poplav. Ampak bomo do neke mere mogoče varni, ampak čez tisto pa spet ne. Tako da to, kar je gospa, oziroma moja No, you have said regulated, not regulated rivers or water, but we should regulate ourselves. I really completely agree with this, and my point was that that the river corridors, as they are now, 500 years ago, they were not as they are now, because they were just multi-channels. So that the issue that we have is really where to put this water, right? And in Slovenia, I think that we still have enough place not to really be so technical as in the Netherlands. But before we don't change our attitude and regulate ourselves to accept water as not dangerous phenomena, I think that then we may start to improve or to live with water, really. So this is my philosophy, that let's stop to fight with water, but to accept the phenomena and try to protect ourselves. So to be more resilient, not to let water damage our properties and so on. So how to do this? It's really not a technical issue, but it's a philosophical and sociological and psychological.
Hvala. Ja? Da bi nekaj povedali. Mogoče, da najprej se tle, mogoče najprej, da si malo nekaj povejo, pa bomo še odprli za publiko. Ampak prosim, zapomnite si vprašanje. Jaz bi tudi še rada povabila gospoda Srečkota Šestana, če bi kaj povedal, ker tudi še nismo slišali od vas, kako vidite to temo glede poplav in varnosti in tudi to temo bojazni, pa da se v bistvu ljudje imajo take negativne asociacije s to besedo poplava. Ne. Se strinjate? Ja.
Ja, jaz bi se navezal kar na gospo Lidijo. Mislim, da je zelo pomembno resnično, da se poplavam odnosno vodi prilagajamo. Ne se proti njej boriti, ker vemo, da preprečiti ne moremo vsega, kar se nam lahko zgodi z vodami. Seveda je tukaj zelo pomembno, da imamo tudi nek sistem odziva, ki ga imamo, v katerem seveda pripadam sam, in naša naloga se s tem seveda ne zaključi. Mi smo tudi eden od tistih pomembnih deležnikov, ki moramo naše ljudi, jaz to poudarjam že vsaj zadnjih 6, 7 ali pa še več let, skupaj z mediji ozavestiti, kje živimo, v kakšnih razmerah živimo in seveda kako moramo se obnašati, da bomo te razmere obvladovali oziroma da bomo lahko preprečili večjo škodo, sploh človeška življenja in tako naprej. In tukaj seveda je veliko še za postoriti, čeprav smo veliko naredili v zadnjih letih, ni samo vzdrževanje problem je tudi, kot pravim, ta mehki del, če lahko to tako imenujem, pri kateremu pa lahko veliko nas, ker nas veliko na takih območjih živi, veliko naredimo. Če dam samo eno tako za intermezzo od župana Jankoviča 2010, ko je rekel javno na televiziji, če živiš na Barju, moraš pa doma škorje imeti. In jaz mislim, da je temu tako, ampak to je ena taka banalna stvar. Enako se pojavlja recimo zadnja leta, ko sem poveljnik in imam več pogleda v to tudi z protipoplavnimi vrečami, z drugimi ukrepi, marsikaj recimo bi ljudje lahko sami naredili, predčasno, ob seveda, bom rekel, ustreznih napovedih, ki pa v naši državi niso slabe, seveda ne morejo biti za kilometer natančne, kar je tudi primer recimo Železnikov ali pa Poljanske doline, pa Soške doline, Sore, tako da tukaj je seveda razlika v oblaku ali pa bom rekel v tej fronti nekaj kilometrov zračne razdalje, je pa lahko čisto druga dolina, druga reka na udaru. Tako smo imeli takšne velike stvari, odnosno temu jaz rečem, da smo na klasične poplave zelo dobro pripravljeni, tudi ljudje bolj ali manj, pa tudi odziv, medtem ko na takšne ekstremne razmere, mislim, da je Lučka, mi je žal, ki jo nisem poslušal, verjetno v tej smeri tudi govorila, take ekstremne razmere v zelo kratkem času, velika količina padavin, na omejenem območju, seveda je pa to čisto drugi tip poplav, na katere je pa težko odreagirati, tudi zato, ker je napoved že težka. Odnosno je praktično nemogoče egzaktno napovedati za par kilometrov narazen. Tako da jaz mislim, da imamo na tem področju, če počasi zaključim, tudi odziva, seveda vključuje pa tudi preventivo, še veliko dela, absolutno pa še enkrat podpiram Lidijino misel, ne da se bomo borili proti vodam, ampak se moramo boriti za to, kako bomo to stvar, bom rekel, dvignili na nivo, da bomo vsi bolj varni v začetku od prebivalca, posameznika, pa seveda do sistema v celoti.
Hvala. Maybe just to summarize, I think the main idea was that we shouldn't be fighting the idea of flooding. We should learn how to live with it, and we should create public awareness for the people. That in the way it starts with the individual. There was the example of if you live on Brouwer, you should have some boots, some rain boots in your home, which is a very drastic way of saying that. But I'd like to ask Hans Brouwer if, in terms of public awareness, I mean, probably in the Netherlands this is much further than it is here. But what, or maybe not, but that's. I was wondering about that. How do you create public awareness? Do you have campaigns? Are people educated about that? And what are you doing about that?
Well, yeah, I can say a few things about that. You talk about the defense, huh? and I fully agree that I think what we did for centuries and that made our country, that is to try to have water adapt to what we would like to have our country built. And well, I hope this morning I explained that we made a first step in trying to adapt ourselves to water. And I think that's a solution. And if you look in history, I think that people were in the past much more aware of water than nowadays in Holland. I showed you the case of Noordwaard, this big polder in rural area. There were 75 families living, and you see in this area that the old houses from before 1970, more or less, they were located on flood mounds and they were safe. And the houses we had to demolish were the new houses because people don't know anymore that water can come. And I think that's one part is a great good, because I think the Netherlands is known as a very vulnerable country and we have a very high rate of protection. In a lot of countries, it has a chance of failing of dikes in 1 in 100 years, and we maintain a figure of 1 in 10,000 years for the coastline. So that's a high attention to protection, and we can afford it as a rich country. But the price is that people, the generation now living, never experience a flooding. And so by taking those new steps, then the interesting thing, the Organization of Economic Development in Europe, the OECD, they made a report about a few years ago about water management and policies in the Netherlands. And they said it's outstanding. Flood policy is outstanding, water quality, etc., quantity. But there's one striking thing. People are not aware about the risks where they live. And the civil service and the politics seems not to care so much. Well, the former minister took that as a point. And that's really a goal to make people more aware, because we know that we can try to defend as much as we can do, but there is always a risk. And if there is a risk, it's wise that people know what the risk is and can handle. And then you have thanks to modern technology, very simple and cheap tools. For instance, we have in a website you can put your zip code in, and then you can get information about your location where you live and how high the water can get in your house if there was no protection. That was the first stage for awareness. Very simple. It's a graphic. And then the second step is that we ask people through the social media to take a blue tape, put it on the wall where the water can come, and make a selfie of themselves and put it on the internet. And you see that you can have, it doesn't have to be difficult or costly, but these are, I think, very new and very nice ideas to try to make people aware. But that's, I think, the weak point in Holland is the awareness of the risk that people can live in Holland 6 meters below sea level, and they don't even know that 6 meters of water can come.
That's really interesting, you know, that in a way you're doing your job so well that people actually forget, forget their awareness, or, you know, yeah. Although there's also something like a short-term memory with this type of catastrophes where, you know, something happens and people are really, there's a call to action, but it usually doesn't last for very long, or it's quickly, it seems like it's something that's quickly forgotten. I mean, I feel like that's somewhat the case in Slovenia.
It's maybe not a nice comparison, but in Bangladesh, every generation's experience 2-time flooding and losing everything. And it's a great good that we don't have, but this is the price. Awareness.
So I want to ask Maite and Miruna, in your works, you know, I feel like you also deal with this topic of fear of water in some sense, or water as a threat, or as a problematic aspect of water. How has this project reframed the thinking for you, and, you know, what do you think are you going to take further now that you've dealt with water in that way and seen all the other projects and the exhibition? Has it influenced you or changed your thinking about water?
Well, I think that a bit of all ongoing conversations quite don't reinforce what I propose with the project, which is wet protocols, and the subtitle is Amphibious Glossary. And I think that's a bit what's going on. Like, if you're looking to a future, it's really an amphibious attitude, what we need, rather than fighting against and resisting water. And again, technology and regulations are the tools to implement that, but those tools without a proper ideological agenda really cannot advance. And in all those regulations, there is a lot of technologies that have allowed us through history to do different things, but of course many different cultural understandings of the ways we cohabit with water. I think in those terms, some of the concepts that I brought here are highly contemporary in terms of today, like 21st century, but there are many other references that belong to really indigenous cultures that they have a much better cohabitation understanding with water than what we have today. And I think it's a bit also of what is the imaginary that we have been collecting through history to deal with water, because maybe that's a bit of the situation, precisely more with Western cultures has been always an imaginary that resists water. So then that's why, like, resistance and going against water is what we have learned, and that's where we have positioned water. Whereas there are many other cultures that have a quite really different attitude within water, and not only, again, physically with water, but what are the values of those roles of people, for instance, in ancient Korea, which didn't exist as such, but there are many figures of women, for instance, that were diverse, that were quite part of the economical substrata of their society. So the roles of those people in society was a high asset for society. So it's really the capacity of negotiating and cohabiting within water position them socially in a really different scale. So those understandings are really shifted compared to what maybe we understand within those terms. So again, summarizing might be a joke, but I think like the amphibious attitude rather than either wet or dry, it's a bit more of the position for me to look to the future.
I'm the same in my case, building upon all the ideas and opinions that were expressed in here. To me, it was very interesting in the first stage to actually educate myself more on this knowledge of water. And it was interesting to explore and sort of map different attitudes towards water in different cultures or different contexts. And I'm also exploring principles in design, so I'm going to speak from a design point of view. There's a huge difference in between designing with something and designing against it. So I think we have to first understand water, and at the same time, perhaps we should transition more towards a somewhat more post-anthropocentric understanding of the world, where it's not so human-centered. Maybe it's not only about ourselves remaining dry, but there are also other creatures in the environment itself that we need to preserve and understand. before we put our interventions out there, where we're perhaps not fully aware of the consequences and side effects that this might have. So I think it's interesting to first understand the world that we live in nowadays, because of course the floods that we have nowadays are perhaps not, well, actually they're more strong than what we had in the past. So then perhaps we should reassess the situation that we find ourselves in and apply the knowledge from the past, weaving it from, like Maite was saying, different cultures regard it differently, so we can still learn a lot from each other, and reassess our position on what we should do next. And I think these principles are some of things that I would like to use as inspiration in my future design projects, be them related to water or not.
Thank you. Yeah, that kind of leads to my next question. You know, I'm going to open it up whoever wants to answer. But what would you recommend for young architects or architects in general? You know, we talked about over regulation in a way, but then I think a certain kind of regulation or smart regulation can also help people can guide construction projects, or can guide people to build in the right way, who maybe don't have the tools or don't have the education to know, you know, how to be unafraid of water and how to kind of work with water. So I'm wondering, I mean, you know, especially with the people who work in the regulatory bodies, I'm wondering about that question. If there's any general thoughts on that. Yes, please.
So the question is, what about the future?
That's essentially the question. But I guess specifically in regards to the built environment, or the people who are, maybe architects is not the right word, but people who are kind of like thinking about the built environment at large, which could be not just architects, anyone who builds, anyone who has to deal with building.
And what we are talking about, and I think we share that idea that we need another attitude to water. And that is just starting, and it also has to do, in my feeling, the combination of functions and of knowledge. Like some of the examples I tried to show this morning about how to receive water in an urban area without having damage. That has something to do with architects, and it has something to do about understanding better what can happen. And as you said, I think one of you said that it's changing. And that means that every time you have to renew your knowledge and renew your technique. But I really believe that it's not anymore a question of, if it's about threat of water, which is only one of the phases of water. That is not anymore, I feel, only in the field of civil engineering, but it's also in the field of architecture, in arts, in philosophy, and in ecology. And I feel, and it's very challenging and gives energy to find ways to work together and to come to new solutions. So I think, you choose a very good topic, and my feeling is you have a future in it because there's a lot to do.
Bom po slovensko, pa bom mogoče pol v angleščini. Moje razmišljanje bi najprej začela, da je vsaka družba specifična in tudi voda je specifična in pač, da je tukaj prvo izhodišče o razmišljanju, kako naprej. Slovenija seveda ni enaka Nizozemski, ne, absolutno ne, po geografskih značilnostih, ekoloških. In je prav, da ne gremo posnemati takoj vse, kar je zunaj nas, ampak gradimo na lastnih znanjih. In v tem smislu potem pridem na razmišljanje, kako smo navajeni odločati in pričakovati, kaj se naj bi zgodilo. In tukaj govorimo o 3 personifikacijah, ki jih imamo v glavah v Sloveniji, in to je država z veliko D, češ da nam bo država vse rešila, ne, tako kot Mati kaj smo imeli, veliko cesarico, ne, nekdaj, Marijo Terezijo. Potem druga velika začetnica stroka, češ bo stroka vse rešila, pa ne vemo niti katera stroka, ne, mislim verjetno vsaka malo, ampak stroka je rekla, ne vem, to jaz si srčno želim, da bi nehali na ta način razmišljati, pa tudi pisati v časopise. Stroka je rekla. Pa ta tretja velika začetnica je pa ne, norma, ne, regulativa, za katero tudi mislimo, da bo se rešila. Pa ne bo, ne, ker smo že zdaj prenormirani. In nismo na boljšem, tudi če imamo recimo, ne vem, 5000 aktov, ki so povezani z vodo v Sloveniji, mimo grede, ne, pa je 10 zakonov. Pa še vedno potem vijemo roke, ko je poplava na Viču v Ljubljani ali pa na Barju, ne. In delamo res grozno travmo iz tega. Tako da jaz osebno ne vem, kako bi to prešla, kot da prvo rečem, da so to problematične zadeve, da pričakujemo, da bo država kaj naredila, ker ne bo, ne more, nima takih moči, niti sposobnosti, ampak da smo to mi sami, ne? Da nekako postanemo zreli, ker se obnašamo malo tako v tem smislu nezrelosti, no? Da so vse drugi krivi, torej država je kriva ali pa država je dala dovoljenje, pa naj država reši. Tako da upam, da bomo zreli postali. Mislim pa, da bomo zreli pravzaprav šele preko takih projektov, ki ste jih vi naredili v muzeju, in vas zelo, zelo pohvalim, ker sem prav vesela, da ste pokazali, da se začenja na srcu. Ne? Ja, ker tehnika dejansko ne more. Jaz sama sem iz tehnike doma, pa smo že 20 let nazaj pogruntali, da ne moramo kaj dosti narediti, ne? Da stvari grejo po svoje. So I was speaking about 3 big letters that we should not rely to, that we have in our culture in Slovenia, and that is that the state will solve everything. It will not. Then the second is that the experts will solve everything. They won't, because there are many experts, and with different knowledge and attitudes, and the third is normative world, so that regulations, legislation again is not enough, that the heart should do. Yes, not really disappointed, I am critical. Okay. After 20-30 years, I think this is not enough. Yeah, it's active and positive, just to show that this is a problem, not to show to the state to do something or experts, but to go out when there is a flood, to walk around, to see how water is flowing, to really put boots on the leg and go out. And of course, this is important. That's very important to avoid fast flowing water. It's very, very dangerous. It's very dangerous, and it's better to leave everything and just run away. That's the fact. But with observing what might happen, even one day before, everybody would know that something can happen. So observe. Go out and observe the situation. Not at the moment, but at least one day before. I think that there are enough indices for this. So live with water outside and observe the water and learn out of nature, walking around. So that's my long explanation, but it is in Slovenian and English. Thank you.
The last
a little reaction on what you said, because I fully agree, because you said, experience and have knowledge. What you see in a lot of floodings happening and the damage that has done, that the rebuilding will be in the same way. And you should use that knowledge to adapt to what water has brought you as knowledge and build in another way. And that is really something that always in many places happen. After Katrina, President Bush said, I rebuilt at the same what has been damaged. That's a mistake. You should use new knowledge, new techniques, and to build better.
Okay, quick answer by Maite, but thank you.
Yes, I'll try to be really quick. Not an advice for future generations, since I'm part of that. So yes, I think the key part is all the time asking, when referring to your question, like what type of built environment we're producing and how. For me, the question is to whom and to which ways of lives. Because again, if we found a flooding area and then the built environment there gets destroyed, the only learning is like new technologies, how to rebuild something there that is going to stay forever again, and that's the objective, then I think we're staying in the same type of cultural references, which are again a type of reference that are very static and belong to a way of staying sedentary, whereas there are many ways of living that are happening today and that happened in the past, maybe not in the past that we have in our common imaginaries, that really bring really different ways of life. So because if we are able to understand that, then maybe we're not trying to build to remain forever, but maybe have a capacity of flexibility and adaptability as we have with our own body. Like I don't put a coat in winter and pretend to remain like that with that coat the whole year in the same place. So yeah, but that's a bit of the capacity that because we have different technologies, we can implement that, and also different attitudes of the way of living that when we're dealing with the built environment, sometimes are so taken for granted. So that would be a bit for me where to look for before we go ahead with implementing new technologies.
Thank you. That was a beautiful closing word. So with that, is there one more response? Okay. Yeah, thank you, all of you. I think that was super illuminating. And let's open up for one question from the audience. And then, did you keep your question?
Hvala za besedo. Jaz sem Mirko Brničagar, bi pa se navezal na sam začetek, uvod vaše okrogle mize, se pravi na zelo spodbuden in bi rekel poetičen pretok besed, ki jih je gospa dala v uvod vaši razpravi. Jaz bi tem besedam, ki so izpostavljali, se pravi poplavnost in pretakanje vode, bi rekel še dve pomembni besedi, na katero bi navezal sam par besed iz svoje razprave pa poudarkov. Torej govorim o tistem obliki prelivanja voda, ki pomeni ponikanje in, kot bi temu rekel, novo rojstvo nekih, rečemo, vode, ne, ampak neke nastajanje nekih novih voda. Jasno, da bom fokusiral vodonosnike, ki opravljajo izjemno delo. To se pravi, vodonosniki so tisti, recimo, ki prečiščujejo vode in njihov produkt je običajno človeštvu izjemno pomemben produkt, ki smo danes že slišali, se pravi življenje, hrana in vse ostale zelo pozitivne stvari, ki so povezane z življenjem mesta ali pa države in človeštva. Zdaj, zelo pomembno se mi zdi, da na tem ljubljanskem simpoziju, vašem simpoziju, ki ste ga odlično pripravili, spregovorim dve besede o Savi, o reki, ki pravzaprav zagotavlja življenje Ljubljani. Mi vemo, da ima Ljubljana mitski izvir. Izvir ljubljanske pitne vode je slab Savica, so Zelenci, od tam priteče voda v Ljubljano. Zdaj, kaj se s to vodo dogaja na poti, ne vemo. Vemo pa, da ta voda na območju Ljubljane ponika, da teče v vodonosnik, zelo kratko območje vodonosnika, to je 5 kilometrov od Broda do Ježice, in da iz tega območja 5-kilometrskega kmalu zatem teče v ogromno podzemno jezero, ki je 4-krat večje od Bohinjskega jezera, in to je naša pitna voda. Zdaj, govoriti o tem, da je ta vodonosnik naš izvir pitne vode, ni nič pretiranega, verjetno res, lahko bi mu rekli prostor rojstva naše pitne vode. Ampak v tem območju, teh 5 kilometrov, mi dobimo več kot 90% vode. In zdaj tisto, kar mislim, da današnji zbor je prav, da sliši, je to, da je prav v tem najbolj krhkem mehanizmu, območju, se začela graditi velika megakanalizacija, ki bo to vodo zagotovo uničila. Se pravi, mi bomo ostali brez pitne vode. In to se zdaj dogaja. In kar je v tej zadevi zelo pomembno, je to, da vsi veste, da so v vodonosniku dogajajo intenzivne sile. Voda, mislim, sploh v hudourniških rekah, kot je Sava. Voda sunkovito narašča, sunkovito pada in pod tem našim vodonosnikom pa se nahaja še potresna prelomnica. To je ena od tistih 2 krakov, ki je leta 1825 Ljubljano že podrla. Skratka, na območju 5 kilometrov bo permanentno v pretoku 5000 ton, se pravi nevarnih vodnih odplak, in če pride do poškodbe, torej lahko jo napovemo, lahko jo pričakujemo, možno je, zato ker sta elementa izvir in onesnažitev združena na istem mestu, se pravi ne v bližini, ampak prav na istem mestu, se nam lahko zgodi, da bomo mi dobili onesnažitev takšnih razsežnosti, da bomo ostali brez pitne vode. Skratka, jaz mislim, da je, oprostite, če sem nekoliko zašel v neposredno problematiko, ampak mislim, da je ta zbor, poslanstvo, sporočilo, ki sem ga danes tukaj slišal, se tako primerno in tako pomembno, da se tudi to pove, tako da s tem sem želel opozoriti na, se pravi, tisto prelivanje, ponikanje, ki pravzaprav ustvarja življenje, in tega elementa ne smemo prekinjati. Moramo ga jemati kot svetost in tako je tudi varovati, ker res to je naše življenje. In povezana beseda, če se navežem na samo poetiko na začetku, se pravi ponikanje, prostor rojstva, ponovno rojstvo, življenje, je tako, ker za čisto vodo enačimo svoj vid, svoje srce, skratka enačimo tisto, kar nas res povzdiguje in vzpostavlja najvišjo stopnjo našega ponosa in motivacije, da v življenju pravzaprav povezujemo vse, kar je najboljše. Hvala lepa.
Hvala. Mislim, da se bomo lahko še potem pri kavici in kosilu naprej pogovarjali, ampak hvala še za ta prispevek.